Hey friends, hope you're having a great Friday. I am, because I fortunately got access to the brand new 1660 Ti. Horrible name and everything. And we got to benchmark it. Wootware sent it to us early, so we can actually have a video for you on launch day. So let's talk about that after I tell you about today's video sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. You probably know Dollar Shave Club for the word that's in their title, shaving. But they don't just have razors, they actually have a whole bunch of grooming products, because we all have our daily routine that you gotta clean up, right? Well, Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to make that happen. They not only have shaving products, but you got shower products, mouth care products, you got hair products, skin products, and butt wipes for when you drop the AMD. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm fanboying there. Not only do they ship them right to your house, the more you buy, the more you save. That's what NVIDIA says. Dollar Shave Club has the exact same philosophy. The more you buy, the more you save. It gets shipped right to your door, and it's called the Handsome Discount. So right now they have this great offer for their shave, shower, or oral starter set, which come in only for $5. With the shave starter set, you get an executive razor and 3 ounces of the Dr. Carver shave butter, which feels so nice on your skin. Then you got the oral care starter set, which comes with their weighty toothbrush and trial size version of their toothpaste. And then there's the shower starter set, coming with 3 trial size versions of amber, lavender body cleanser, citrus and Hawaiian ginger face cleanser, and sage and black pepper shampoo. So join the club and one of their starter sets for only $5, my friends. After that, the restock box ships regular size products at a regular price, and you can get this exclusive deal at dollarshaveclub.com/UFDtech. Again, that's dollarshaveclub.com/UFDtech. Check out the link, go get it for $5, and then just keep getting regular maintenance on your facial care stuff. Check out Dollar Shave Club, and let's get into the review. So, I have a 1660 Ti. I shouldn't, and I had to do a few things that I'm not proud of in order to make this work. But first of all, I didn't peel the tape off yet so that we can enjoy this together. So, if you guys wouldn't mind just coming in real close and... Oh yeah, I forgot Palit has really sticky stuff that doesn't... theirs is not pleasant to pull off. Dang it, all right, cut. This is not how I wanted it to go. Oh, that is not a nice boy. That's the boy your parents tell you to not date. And it's like here behind the, what the frick? What did you do, Palit? So, because I actually acquired this 1660 Ti through retail means and not necessarily through NVIDIA directly, and they still haven't given me access to press drivers for whatever reason, even though they have sent me press samples of cards, a la the 2060, which is in this stack right here. I do not have drivers for the 1660 Ti, at least not the official ones, but that's not something a little ingenuity couldn't get past. So the way this system boots up is this says a Microsoft display adapter. What I did was I modified the driver to think that the 1660 Ti is a card that should exist. I put the 1660 Ti's PCI Express ID into the NVIDIA driver using an unsigned driver method, loaded it up onto the latest NVIDIA driver that's publicly available, at least of today, which is 418.91. And once I had all of the drivers installed, the games actually ran, I was able to actually benchmark it and see, should you even buy this 1660 Ti? So let's go ahead and answer that question after I put on a wallpaper that's more sufficient than this. So the 1660 Ti is here. It has 1,536 CUDA cores based on the Turing architecture. No tensor cores as far as I know, according to the spec sheets I have, and definitely no ray tracing cores. It has 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. At least this model has a 12 gigabit per second memory bandwidth on a 192-bit memory interface, and it comes in at a clock speed of something that I need to find my phone for so that I can reference it wherever I put that. So the specific Palit Storm X OC model has a base clock of 1500 megahertz, a boost clock of 1850, but in actual benchmark, we saw regular clock speeds of between 1860 and 1905, with it being able to overclock a little bit higher than that to about 2025, but I wasn't able to actually adjust the memory voltage for whatever reason, couldn't get Afterburner to let me in or any other programming or any other overclocking application. So all of the overclocking that I did was on stock voltage, was just the power limit raised, and that let me get around 2000 megahertz on the core. And then I maxed out the overclock on the memory. I was able to get 14 gigahertz and it was super stable and I couldn't go any further. Anyways, let's talk about the actual stock performance of this card. I see a lot of discussion discussion on the internet about how the 1660 Ti is a replacement for the 1050 Ti. And I have to say, I don't believe that for a second. I believe that this is actually the replacement for the 1060. There is information out there that's saying that the 1650 should drop sometime next month. I don't have any more information than that, but it's something that seems reasonable. The 1660 Ti is the 1060 replacement, and then the 1070 above was completely stripped and replaced by the RTX series. The RTX 2060 is not the 60 series, it's the RTX 60 series, which is something that is completely new and unanticipated by most general consumers. It is a strange move by NVIDIA to call this the 2060, then to have a 16 series for whatever freaking reason. NVIDIA hasn't responded to my email, so I have no idea why they chose this naming scheme, besides the fact that I could assume it's because they want us to talk about it. But the 1660 Ti is absolutely a 60 class GPU at a price that makes sense for a 60 class GPU. $280 is the current retail price of the 1660 Ti. It seems like the halfway point between the MSRP of the Founders Edition 1060, which was $300, and then the MSRP of the AIB 1060s, which was about $250. So $280 right in the middle. It actually kind of comes in at a pretty sweet price point, especially when you consider that most RX 590s are around the $260 mark. This is NVIDIA competing with AMD directly right now, at least until Navi comes out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the benchmarks. I'm going to compare the two cards that actually should be compared in this benchmark. So we got the 1660 Ti and the GTX 1070. And as you can see on the screen, in most games, the 1660 Ti is slightly better than the 1070 by the tune of 1 to 4%. So it's essentially 1070 level performance. There are a few games where they're dead on, such as in Far Cry New Dawn, where the 1660 Ti got 73.5 FPS and the 1070 got 73.2 FPS. But again, if you're looking at all of this, Strange Brigade, Hitman, Final Fantasy, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Middle Earth Shadow of War, Metro Exodus, they are all within 5% of each other. So this 1660 Ti, both in name and performance, is not a 1050 Ti replacement. It is absolutely worthy of the middle of the road GPU moniker, because holy crap, 1070 level performance for $280 when the MSRP of the 1070 was $450 at launch for the Founders Edition, and then $350 a little while later when the 1070 Ti launched. So $350 for a 1070 versus $280 for a 1660 Ti. The 1070 is kind of outdated at this point, completely doesn't even need to exist. The only benefit that the 1070 would have is that extra 2 gigabytes of VRAM, because this has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, whereas the 1660 Ti only has 6, but the super fast speeds of the GDDR6 kind of make up for it. And at 1440p high settings, which is where we tested everything, the 1660 Ti wins. Unless you're going to 4K and trying to get slower than 60 FPS, that 6 gigabytes of VRAM isn't really going to limit you. We didn't see any limits in our testing. The 8 gigabytes of VRAM not really giving a win to the 1070 whatsoever. So straight up performance, the 1660 Ti absolutely wins. But let's talk about value. So not only did we benchmark the 1070, we decided to make sure that we compared it to the 1060, the card it's replacing, the RX 590, its closest AMD competitor, and then the Vega 56, which is its closest AMD actual performance competitor. And if we look compared to the RX 590, if we just take the aggregate frame rate of all of the games that we benchmarked and divide it by the price of around $260 for this XFX Fat Boy against the $280 of this Palit Storm X OC, we see that we get a 2.2 frames per dollar on the 1660 Ti, and then just over 2 frames per dollar for the RX 590, which means that the 1660 Ti is a better value. For the 1060, it's a 1.8 frames per dollar value, and then for the RTX 2060, it's actually a 2.11 frames per dollar value, which makes it its closest value competition. And then for the Vega 56, which is currently selling for $400, that means that we only get 1.5 frames for every dollar that you spend, which means that the Vega 56 is the worst value out of the bunch. The RX 590 is an okay value if you're looking to only spend $200 $260. But the best value graphics cards that you could get for 1440p 60 FPS gaming at high settings or 1080p high refresh rate gaming is the 1660 Ti. Coming in at $280, it's 2.2 frames for every dollar you spend, is the best out of the 6 cards that we test that would be its closest competitor. And then coming up second is actually the RTX 2060, which means if you're looking to spend anywhere from $250 to $350, there are 2 graphics cards you need to consider. It is the GTX 1660 Ti and the RTX 2060. Of course, that's not taking the used market into play here. If you can get a Vega 56 for around $250 to $300, then that would be pretty good, especially since it beat the 1660 Ti by about 4% in most games. So the lead that the 1660 Ti has on the 1070, Vega 56 has on top of that. And then if we just take the South African pricing into perspective right now, especially since it was Wootware who sent us this Palit Stormex OC, they told me that they're looking to retail it anywhere from 4,700 Rand to 5,000 Rand, depending on the Rand to dollar exchange ratio. It looks a bit more favorable, so we did all of our calculations at 4,800 Rand, and even still, the 1660 Ti is the best value graphics card that you can get in South Africa for 1440p and 1080p gaming. You want high refresh rate 1080p gaming, pick up this Palit Stormex OC. If you want 1440p 60 FPS gaming, pick up this Palit 1660 Ti. You're not gonna be sorry, especially since temperatures on this single fan 100mm design was about 69 degrees Celsius through all of the testing that we did in all of the benchmarking. And again, that boost clock of around 1860 to 1900 megahertz on this thing was pretty phenomenal. This is the GPU that so many people have been waiting for. The 1060 replacement is here after nearly 3 years, and it is amazing. It is 1070 level performance for $70 cheaper. That's essentially everything everybody wanted. The 1660 Ti is about 40% faster than the 1060, and that's coming after about 3 years. This is a good improvement. I actually think this is something you should pick up. It puts the RX 590 in a really weird spot at its current price point of $260. You can include the games that you get bundled with AMD, and that does help to sweeten the pot a bit. And considering this, you know, NVIDIA cards are coming with Battlefield and Anthem. Actually, I don't even know if that applies to the 1660 Ti. I haven't been told by NVIDIA what it includes. Either way, those games suck. So AMD clearly has the better game bundle that's happening there. So if you want to include that, then it makes the RX 590 a bit more palatable. But as far as raw performance and performance per dollar, 1660 Ti is sitting at the top of the stack, at least for me. This is the card that I would pick up right now, around 5,000 Rand here in South Africa, less than $300 in the US. It is hard to find a reason to fault this card besides the fact that NVIDIA took several months to lead with this, especially after they released all of the RTX stuff. And they priced it in such a way that it doesn't make the RTX 2060 obsolete, the $350 here, especially for the dollar per frame that you get, considering that this is about 20% faster than the 1660 Ti, and it only costs 25% more. 2060 is still a really good value. You still get ray tracing on top of that if you ever want it, but if you don't, it's still really good for non-ray tracing games. So that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video. Let me know what you think of the 1660 Ti. Is it everything that you have been waiting for? Is it everything your dreams have been wanting it to be, and more or less? Let me know down in the comments. Obviously, we did everything on hack drivers, not the official NVIDIA release drivers, so things could be different from other reviewers. We'll wait to see what's happening there, but according to our benchmarking and our testing right now, 1660 Ti is really good to go. Don't forget that this video is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/UFD Tech to get one of their starter sets for only $5 right now. Exclusive deal. Check it out. You know you want to look good. You want to smell good. You want to have that facial cleanser. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. Love you too.